My apologies. I am on the, let me start sharing. Give me 1 second. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, apologies for being delayed. I had a few calls that ran over. But yes, I fully intend to continue to be on Mondays. But thank you for being so patient with me. I'll make you guys worth your while, and I have my usual gem coin I will tell you guys at the end. But let's start. First of all, happy Monday. Hope everyone's doing great. Second, I'm going to start with USDT dominance. No, of course I'll join. No, I love you guys. It's like, assume if I'm not here, it's not because I don't want to be here, but literally because I am like so freaking busy, it's insane. That's another reason why when I trade swings. So I trade kind of longer term than shorter term, which is a little bit more hands off, better for my scheduling. And I'm sure some of you guys are in a similar boat. But with that said, we are still in an interesting range here. I'll start off with USDT dominance. I will do Aave. Yes, that's on my list as well. I charted Aave earlier today already, so I have that one ready for you guys. But USDT dominance, what I'm seeing here right now is we do have this tight range. We are still in a tighter range, but we're consolidating above the 5.35%, 5.36. I'd expect this range to hold for the most part. We are printing the 1-day candle high and low. We just took the previous day's high. So honestly, I'd actually expect us to pump a little bit more at this range, honestly. But if we cannot take below 5.54 on the USD dominance, I would actually expect this to shift up a little bit. I'll redraw this really, is I would expect this to happen if we are unable to take previous day low. We actually treat this as the SMR. So I'll go in a little closer so you guys can see. Oops. Yes, we've already consolidated. We have one SMR here. We're supporting bearish delivery. We already have one SMR there. So we're balanced on the lower time frames. Medium time frames, also fairly balanced. Really though, we have been mounting this zone, so the 5.67. So really, if we just do another push down, this would actually continue to be bullish on USDT dominance. So we might actually take the high first. If we do take the high first, there's two problems, right? First is this would start invalidating the SMR at 6.75. I have in purple, 7.9 really, 7.5, yeah. Because once we start invalidating this range, the next level would be the 7.3. And if the market decides to actually flip this high time frame range, which right now we are very, very close to doing, shorts would be on the menu up until we get down to 7.3% on USDT dominance, right? So just be careful with your longs here. Because we are mounting this range, and if we invalidate this SMR, we could impulse all the way to 7.3. I trimmed a lot of my spot bags, and I intend to buy back between 6.75 and 7.3. We need to hold 7.3 on the high time frame. Otherwise, we're going to be taking monthly liquidity above that, which would basically mean, death to the crypto market, for lack of better words. We'd be going up to 10%. So the 7.3% is basically, in my mind, the last line of defense between 7.3 and 7.8. If we can bounce reject at 7.3 and 7.8 on the monthly, then good, crypto will still be alive long term. If we cannot hold this, then I would expect probably the biggest oblivion death of crypto possible. So with that said, this would be the next levels. You'd want to mark that out in your charts as well. When we were to hit there on the high time frame, the monthly, the weekly, things like that, what I'd want to see is closures on the weekly and the daily below the 7.3. We close below 7.3, we're in good shape. We go close below 7, we're even in better shape on the weekly. On the weekly, that would mean that we're now going to be retesting the 5.5 and actually take this trendline liquidity, which we've been matching quite some time, since 2018, years. We've been respecting this trendline liquidity. So obviously, if we break that, we'll probably see the biggest crypto pumps in all of history, because we'd actually be breaking that monthly trendline liquidity all the way back down, right? So invalidating that structure completely. So some really interesting things going on with USD dominance. Keep that in mind with your trades if you're going long or short. I'll do Bitcoin, and then I'm going to do Ethereum, and then from there we can do Aave and others. So for Bitcoin, same thing. We are basically still in a tighter range from before. We are still printing the Monday daily candle. So this Monday daily candle here, as high as low, are basically our targets, liquidity targets. I'll clean up my chart a little bit here. Here's what I have. So if we're going with, if we are going with the high and low, I'm going to just mark the high and low out. Right. So we have our two. I'll make them white for now. Zoom in. So if we print this candle and we consolidate here on the Monday range, I'd expect this teal to play out, because what's interesting here is we've closed below the range. We've supported the reversal at 60.3. So that's actually been respected already. So, right, we've had this range high that we broke, and we've now flipped to bearish, right? This was bullish, now it's bearish. So effectively, we can use that as a SL anchor point on this range very easily. So if we then take the high of Monday's range from this Monday candle right now that's still printing, I'd expect us to take the short between 59,433 and 59,915. Those are my current limits. I actually have them live and active right now. So this is actually a setup that's almost a 22 RR setup, so incredibly high. I am only risking on these entries roughly 1.5% of my account value between those 5 entries. I expect it to hit probably within the next, I'm going to say, 8 hours roughly. So by the end of the day. And I would expect it to then start making closures for my confirmation, start making closures back below 59,234. So teal plays out on this Monday range daily candle. My TP will be back to range balance for SL break even 7. So SL break even 57.7. And then TPs at inefficiencies at the 4 and 8, and then the range low. So this one has not been tapped yet. So the 45,836 would be my final TP, making this roughly 22 RR trade. So pretty nice here. Keeping those open. I'm only risking 1.5%. With 1.5% of my account, that will net me like at least 20 to 30% gain in a single trade. So to me, that's amazing. So this is what I have going right now. Also in shorts on Ethereum as well. I think I mentioned to you guys last week that I was looking for the range low to be held. As you can see, last week it was, and I drew this up for you guys just like a little bit ago. And as you can see, I opened this chart up. It's exactly where I expected it to be. Now what's interesting is we are reversing here. I'm already in my short from my levels here that I mentioned to you guys last week, the 2,685 roughly. My average is 2,685. I'm already SL break even. Actually, no, sorry, I'm not SL break even yet because this range could still be moved into. What I'm looking here is even if we take the 4-hour closure below 2,500, 2,590, we get a good confirmation there. That's when I'll start to make SL break even for my short. Otherwise, I would just keep the risk open, hold, right? So hold for your short, and I'm expecting it to at least sweep to 24, if not lower, to 2,000, right? I'm holding it, and I'm going to trim it to 2,250, but I would not be surprised if we go all the way back down under 2,000. I can keep a runner if I want. That'd be nice, right? So we'll see how that plays out as well. Awesome. So Aave is the next one. I'll do that one real quick. Excellent. So Aave is fun. I've actually looked at Aave like 2 or 3 times for, a few hours each time, obviously, over the past couple of weeks. And I've noticed that if you start very high time frame, right? It looks phenomenal. It looks amazing. There's nothing about this chart that screams bearish to me on the high time frames. So with that said, we've actually supported and we're making an incredibly strong V-shaped recovery on the monthly. So for Aave, and we have an untapped OB all the way up at 270. So on the monthly. So what I'm thinking here is we play this very strategically, considerations. We do not, if you want to go spot, great. But personally, what I'm doing is, even though we've closed this monthly above and we're actually supporting this range, this monthly tap, we have never tapped this tiny weak inefficiency at 58 on the weekly. So what I'm expecting is, if we make a third tap on the range high, we could be making what's referred to as a seek and destroy pattern. Or what other moves in the same range. So with that said, I'm actually going to be playing this a little differently. I am not playing it short. I might play it short if we get to the 120 and then start rejecting on the weekly. I would actually wait to go long and spot after we go back down to under 75. And the reason why is we haven't tapped. There's 2 things here. We haven't tapped this weekly OB, and there's a weekly inefficiency down here. So I would not be surprised if we wick back down to 55 or 56 before we reclaim range above 75, and then, and only then, we would then take the 220, right? So something like teal, I expect playing out. We destroy on the weekly. We reclaim range after we tap the 55 at the 75. Okay. Cool. Any questions? Yes, Star. Star is great. I looked at it earlier today. Didn't get a chance to fully chart it out yet. As you can see, there's some references here. We did actually close under, so this is still bearish on the short term. What's good though is that we have triple inversions down here. So if this actually holds as the range low, honestly, this is bearish on the short term, bullish on the long term. We've already tapped this weekly OB. We've already printed a higher low. I'm sorry. And then the weekly, we have a triple inversion down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's quadruple. So a huge amount of confluence down here. I'm going to mark it at the teal, and then at that OB, and then possibly, that one was supported. Possibly over there, basically the blue. So yeah, daily, weekly supports this as well, which is actually kind of nice because we are already this daily candle. If we take the low first, this is pretty clean. I will say that much. I might take this actually tonight. This is a great one. We have 2 levels that are referenceable for anchor points on stop losses. If we're talking SMRs, we could do the SMR here, or we can do the other one, right? This one was supported, but this one was also supported back here. So I have that marked already. Range lows, simple and easy. Nothing too crazy there. That range low is supported. So we have 1, 2 SLs we could reference. Blue and teal potential entries. If you want to optimize a little bit, you could probably go into some of the 2D ranges, right? So basically anywhere in this range. Yeah, between 16 cents and 12 cents, basically. We want to maybe even 11. So yeah, like this is your entry zone right here. Which I'd actually expect this next 2D candle to dip into this a little bit, and then as soon as it closes back over range high, it's going to rocket for sure. Same thing there. We already invalidated this OB, so pretty strong confluence there. I'm gonna probably hop into this long sometime soon on DAR. CeeLo, let's do CeeLo real quick. And yeah, I'll go over a couple minutes as my normal time frame because I know I started just a tad late. Apologies on that. Yeah, so CeeLo, same thing here. This actually is a little invalid. It's been a while since I've looked at this one. CeeLo looks very nice, actually. We did take liquidity on a few levels here. Wow. Strangely, this looks very, very good. Very clean structure on the high time frame. We are just making that. What do we have here? We have one smooth OB, right, on the 2-day, and then we have, what's the weekly say? Yeah, we're still in an OB. So this is actually really nice. This is a clean stop right here. Probably start to scale in on. So 6 days left on this weekly candle. And then we have this inversion. So the closure here is the next stop. Let's just check that. Why is this not popping up? Here we go. So we need to flip this range. Oh, nice. Already about to. Basically, if we close the weekly right where we are right now, then we're going up. But this is still in balance. So I would say if you want to start scaling in spot, great, but this is actually not looking too bad, right? We go a little bit, we drop a little bit, consolidate more, but as soon as we consolidate more, that's when we're going to support this SMR, assuming this is the range low that holds. We want to see confirmation closures at 4.41 cents and above, because that's actually, there's a triple. There's a smooth OB and the equal low. So honestly, what I might do for CeeLo is I might start scaling in at the blue with my stop at the red, right? This is a great spot play, honestly, CeeLo, because this is something you'll have to hold for a bit, or you can do a longer term swing, because as soon as we start closing above 50 cents on the weekly, this thing is going to fly because this OB is going to be supported, right? We're going to invalidate both this weekly inversion. Also super bullish on that too. Super bullish. Great, thank you for that one, Wanted. And then TRX, take a look at that one. Okay, here we go. No problem. So for TRX, we do have some strong trendline liquidity here. We did tap into this OB. We need to start closing above on the weekly. So draw is still going to be up here. So honestly, this is not too bad. Right, we have ERL draw here and here. So we take the high, we trap. On the weekly, I'd want to see, actually, this is tricky because we just took the high here, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is tricky because this range right here, the lower time frame range is a little iffy. Like by lower time frame, maybe like the daily. I would like to see this range hold, right? So if we go up first, I would look for shorts. If we retrace down to 13 cents, I'd look for spot longs, because this would be the range low. That would be the range low. So this is still iffy for me right now. I would have to wait for structure to build a little bit more, but I would be bearish if we took the high first here. Otherwise, I'd want to see at least maybe like 13 to 12 cents roughly. Yeah, something like that. That would be cleaner for me to go long. Awesome, TRX. Hopefully that answered your question. And then Pon D. Well, What would be few coins for spot buy these days? Yeah, hold capital, invest spot buys like Sol, Link, Aave, or do you mention or just keep USDT and wait? Great question. For the most part, the answer is quite simple. I like to determine how much capital I deploy purely based on this chart, USDT dominance. If I think this chart's going to go up, then I want to sell things, right? I want to make sure we have more USDT on the side to buy on those dips, because when this chart pumps, then it's going to dump the crypto market. So even spot buys, I actually sold out of like kind of most of my spot. And I'm expecting this to continue. So with that said, even like really the only things that I would, sorry, there's a very nuanced answer to this question. If the chart looks clean and the community and the foundations of the coin are solid, then I would say pick up spot, right? Now is the time only to pick the best of the best that you kind of fervently believe in, right? As a coin or as a community. Everything else is going to be noise because we're not in a bull market right now anymore. We're in kind of like a ranging / bear market. So now is definitely the time to just either stick to USDT, wait for more dumps to happen. Either you do that, you go short, with risk managed plays, or you pick only the coins that you fervently believe in and fervently know, right? Personally, I did mention to you guys, for those of you who came in, I think last week, I did mention one of them in the past, or I'll mention the two. I'll give these out too for you guys. These are charts that I'm looking for. Basically, things that are coins that are solid communities. Beam is one of them. So I'll pull this up right now. Beam is not actually on this. Here we go. So Spot Beam is one of the ones I have right now. Community is really cool. Their product is interesting because they're trying to be a competitor to Monero, which is XMR. So basically in the privacy space. So if we're talking privacy, that industry in crypto is not necessarily tapped as much as, AI or gaming might be. There's not a whole lot of competitors in that space. Beam is one of them. And XMR is trying to basically outdo XMR a little bit. And that narrative has not really been played out yet. And Beam's chart, to me, looks very efficient because even on the high time frames, if you look at the weeklies, we've bottomed out for the most part, right? We've already made a low, and we're back consolidating at the weekly low again. Nothing has changed, right? So we haven't made a new low, which is great. From here, really, there's only way to go is but up. In my mind, and also the community is great too. So there's a few things there too. So Beam is one of them. High time frame. If we start making weekly closures back above 88 cents, this range is going to hold. We're going to then support the next range, right? And as you can see, it peaked. This coin peaked at $2. So things like that are these are the kinds of things you want to look for. You want to look for the diamonds in the rough, the coins that have a solid foundation, solid communities, and very clean charts. If they check all those boxes, then and only then I'll say, let's buy some spot. But until then, just hold, wait, play it short, or, be patient. And I think I mentioned last time too, Suku was another one. It's a payment system. I think it's on a few different, sorry, that's Suku. Yeah, there we go. That's it right there. It's on a few of them. I'll use the XC chart for now, but same thing here, right? We have range low tapped. We never made a new low, and now we created a bullish LB with a new range, right? We take the range, or we hold this range here. Then all we're going to do is basically shift back up to range high, right? So very, very simple, very, very clean. I expect holding this for a little bit. We might dip down to the 4 cents, but these are the kinds of spot plays I'm looking for because I'm looking for heavy returns. So 4 cents, I'm going to keep buying up until like roughly right under 4 cents. And my first profit target is 30 cents. And then I'm holding for range highs, obviously, at $1 and above. Cool. So those are two. Is there any other questions? Hopefully that answers your question. Is there any other questions before I jump into another little spot coin that's interesting? Jupe. Okay, Jupe. I'm going to do Jupe. Thank you for reminding me. I did Jupe earlier in the week as well. Very clean as well. We did support this weekly OB, right? We are going to take range low. We rebalanced right in this OB. So basically, I'm kind of bearish still. I'm holding my short. As you can see, I think if you were with me like at least 4 weeks ago, I mentioned that I was starting a short. Yeah, 4 weeks ago in my stream, I mentioned I was starting a short, and the blue was my entries. So right now, my entry for my short is still at the $1.20 average. I'll make that blue. And that's still the case. So I was filled completely, and I have my short from there. I have TP twice already, so now I'm actually just with runners. My final TP will be at the 65-cent mark. So I expect this to do basically follow my blue here, right? And as you can see, I haven't changed it. I literally just pulled this chart up. From here, we probably bounce a little bit, but I think draw is still going to be the 65-cent mark. As soon as we take the 65-cent mark, dip into, or depending on the impulse right here, whatever happens, what I want to see is I want to see this impulse crush through 63 cents. And then where do we get the daily closure after? After we crush through 63 cents, do we close back above 63 cents or 60 cents? Or do we close above 65 cents? Those are the questions I want to ask after we make that impulse, because then we'll know if we actually are making a higher high and have a high time frame market structure shift on the daily. If we do, and we do make that higher high, or higher low, I'm sorry, and higher high, really, I would expect to then take a long from that level. So roughly in the 63 cents range. So 63 cents will be when I take the long back all the way up to above $1. Maybe $1.20, depending on, maybe, yeah, like roughly $1.22. So I took the short already, and I'm going to take the long as soon as this structure builds out in teal a little bit more, and then hold for range highs again. So pretty easy, nothing too crazy there. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Cool. Last but not least, I will give you guys another spot coin that I scaled in on. There's a few out there. I think there's another one. I haven't actually scaled into this one yet, but it's new, or rather, it started trending because it pumped recently, which is rare. So this one is interesting. I actually haven't charted it yet. I intend to look at it a little bit further, because here we actually did do what's referred to an ICT as an IO Fed entry on a weekly gap. So we bounced at this IO Fed entry. That would be the interesting thing here, is that we now have a weekly change in the state of delivery, which would mean that this weekly gap, this weekly range, is going to hold over the longer time frame. So it's almost confirmed that we're going back up to $1.40. So with that said, I intend to start scaling into super rare, probably in the next few days, maybe sooner. We'll see. Nothing too crazy, with just maybe a spot play with a stop at like 5 cents and just hold it. Keep holding it, right, until we get back up to $1.35. So something like this on the weekly, I'd expect to see, right? Something like that I'd want to see on the weekly. We drift a little bit, consolidate, make a low at maybe 13 cents, 20 to 13 cents, then go back above 30. Cool. Last but not least, I will do Trump. That's on MEXC. I have not looked at this one at all. Okay, sure. Never heard of this coin, but I'll still analyze it anyway. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it's just the first month, right? Yeah. What's our daily range? Okay, still printing. Weekly. We have a weekly block there. And then we have two PDAs, one up here on the daily. Yeah, TA works on anything that has a price. If it has a price over time, technical analysis will work on it. So we have two things here. We have 1, 2, and 3. So right now it is supporting bearish delivery. Right, we have 1, 2, 3 ranges. We have a fourth one here. Basically, as exposure is back above teal on the 4-hour, we'd have a confirmed range deviation back into here. So basically bullish, right? Until then. This is current range here. We did take the low, right? So the next step here is we take the low one more time or take the high. So that's our next range. Clean, pretty clean. So we got basically a range expansion here. So really depends on what happens in the next few hours. If we take the high first, I'd be bearish. If we drift, take the low first, but then hold this range, then I'd be bullish. And that's our bullish scenario. But I'd want to see a little bit more consolidation here and between the teal lines before I do anything. I'd want to see at least this range low taken. However, if we do pump above 270, start closing above, consolidating, I'd be very bullish, right? Very simple there. I'll make this orange. Yeah, that's the simple part here. Simple part of the TA is just you got to play everything range by range, and it's a little bit clearer once you do. E-gold, very similar. Yes, I would definitely want to do that too. I'll do that too real quick. E-gold is really nice because I actually was looking at spot purchasing it too recently. I definitely, yeah, because it did just take that low. It made a new low there. Yeah, this is basically our consolidation level. If we close this weekly right where we are now, this is bullish in the high time frame where we basically then have to just reclaim this range, something like that, right? So spot buys for sure. E-gold is one of those ones I will admit this is a great for a spot buy in this range here that we're in. Assuming you want to just hold a spot, right? This is pretty simple. It's to anchor your stop at the lowest low, because that would mean that this range is going to be this is the SMR for that range. So $21.80 roughly. If you're doing leverage would be your stop loss, or even if you're doing spot would be your stop loss. Typically always good to anchor your stop at the high time frame stop loss level for the SMR, as opposed to like a lower one, right? Like if I was to look at the 4-hour, like even if we do, or the 4-hour here. Yeah. Like even if I was to do down here at the 25, that could be valid too. Honestly, the 25 depends on how much you want to risk, but yeah, it really comes down to flipping this daily. Very, very close. Basically, if we close where we are now, it'll be bullish, but we haven't closed where we are now in this candle. So we don't know if it's going to be 100% like bullish confirmed or not. But I would say if we close where we are now, take the high, do the orange, right? If orange plays out, then yes, I'd be bullish. If we go a little bit higher, close above, start, going down, great. If we close below this orange line, if we start closing below on the daily and don't retake it, then I would say this is still going to be bearish, and we might drift down to 24 to 23. So we might have if we go like that, something like this, right? But still, overall, the longer we consolidate between this range, the more bullish it's going to be for this one. So still great spot buys in this zone. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Apologies for being late, and hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Remember, daily range, Monday's daily range makes the weekly range. So wait, if you're, if you want to trade the Monday range, always wait until after Monday's candle's printed, and then you can start trading that range. It's much cleaner in my mind. So that's why I typically don't trade Mondays, but I do my most analysis on Mondays. So stay green. And if you have any questions for me, ping me, DM me. I'm always open. My virtual door's open. And yeah, stay green. Have a good rest of your week.